Yeah, so Infamous is a superhero game and in a sort of open world environment. So you said it kind of has Spider-Man elements in it, which is that your character Cole can climb all over pretty much anything. Anything that looks like a handhold pretty much is. So yeah, it's a little bit like Assassin's Creed, but a bit more active, because with Assassin's Creed you basically hold down the button to dictate that you are in climbing mode, and then everything happens automatically. But with Infamous, you actually have to, jump, and you have to push the control stick in the direction of handholds that you can see and all that kind of thing. And because you're this guy who is inherently imbued with electricity, you can't shoot guns, and you can't drive cars, and you can't swim, because in various different orders it causes things to explode or kill you if you try to do any of those things. So that's kind of how they keep you on the island and how they limit what you can do. You don't have guns, you don't pick up weapons and that sort of thing, and you don't drive around. The idea is that you cross the city by climbing on top of things and, just running and jumping on rooftops. So the story behind the game is that you are this courier called Cole, and that presumably explains why he's so good at climbing stuff, because he's cut from the same cloth as Faith from Mirror's Edge.
Yeah.
Is that you're this courier who is told to pick up this package and take it somewhere else, and then it turns out to be this bomb of a weird kind. So this big electrical explosion sweeps throughout the city, causing massive devastation. You are somehow left with superpowers which allow you to control electricity, which you can drain from various different sources throughout the city. And the government decides, in order to contain this virus, which is also spreading at the same time, to close off all the bridges to the city. So it's very Escape from New York, that kind of thing. But anyway, so the powers that you get are, in effect, stand-in for the usual things you can do in a game. So instead of having a gun, you can just zap people with your electricity. Bolt. Instead of grenades, you have this sort of electrical grenade thing. I've now just unlocked the ability to sort of slow down time and zoom in my cursor, kind of like a sniper rifle, to take people out with one shot. And also the ability to, hold my hands out and create this static field, which allows me to fall more slowly. That's another interesting thing, actually, that there is no fall damage. You can die if you fall into water, but you can survive any fall, which is actually quite nice, because it means that the game doesn't become unnecessarily difficult.
Yeah, I like
But if they want it to be challenging, then they can put water underneath you for certain parts of the game, like when you go into the sewers, which you have to do every now and again to turn the power back on the city. Because the city is divided up into sort of little boroughs, and all of them have their power knocked out initially, and you have to go down to the sewers and get the generator turned back on. Each time you do that, when you reconnect to this big electrical coupling thing, electricity surges through your body, and you are now able to use a different power. So that's how they unlock all the different abilities throughout the game, is you go down to the sewer, and at the very beginning you're given a new power, and then you have to use it to navigate through this obstacle course they put out in front of you with the water down at the bottom. So there's like a hazard, and it actually tests you on how well you can jump and climb and use all of your different powers. I'm actually playing as Evil, which is a hell of a lot of fun, because you can jump off buildings and use this smash down action, which creates this gigantic shockwave which destroys cars and stuff like that. And I'm loving just randomly jumping off the building into crowds of enemies and destroying a whole load of them.
And this is a bad guy power?
Yeah.
No, it's not a bad guy power. It's also a good guy power. But the morality system works in the way that if you're evil, you have access to different types. You can upgrade your powers in different ways. So for the shockwave, or the sort of jump off the building shockwave, that whole one, if you upgrade it, it increases the blast radius. Whereas if you're a good guy, I assume it makes it less deadly to civilians who happen to be standing in the way. The sort of force push move that you can do, the bad guy thing is, again, anyone who gets caught in it doesn't just get pushed back, they also get electrified. Whereas the good guy one, I have a feeling, allows you to push heavier objects or something like that. So there's kind of a balance, and the morality does actually play into it, which is a good thing, because the morality thing is paper thin in this game.
Is it? I was about to ask, is it actually giving you hard decisions, or is it simple?
No,
very
it's not.
No, it's one or the other. It's very bipolar.
Yes, exactly. It is very polar, and it's all red and blue coordinated, so you can have a whole host of magnet jokes if you want to. But so yeah, if you're a good guy, your electricity is blue. If you're a bad guy, your electricity is red. And whenever you come up against one of these,
the force. Yes.
whenever you come up against one of these situations, the screen actually goes into sepia, the game stops, and Cole has this internal soliloquy where he says, if I need to get past these guards, I could rush out and deal with them myself, or I could fire from this crowd of people, which will cause a riot, but it could get people killed, but allow me to sneak in around the back. That whole kind of thing. So it's very, very obvious what's happening. And it also means that when you're playing a bad guy, because you can't just be destroying stuff all the time, or that wouldn't make an interesting story. It means that occasionally you do have to help people, which makes it kind of clash with the fact that I'm an evil guy who's just randomly kicking people in the face. So, to be honest, although it's kind of cool that your powers are linked to your morality and whether you're good or evil, I actually might have preferred it if it wasn't there, because it kind of highlights this gamey aspect of the game, and also means that occasionally, it just means that the narrative isn't really as strong as it could be, which is a shame, because it's presented in a very good way. The actual cutscenes are sort of done in this wonderful comic style in 2D
it's beautiful.
art,
It's
which
beautiful.
is really beautiful. Yeah, it's wonderful to look at.
It's I was just going to comment on the morality system, and I think I haven't got that far in the game. I'm still on the first little neon district, about 10 missions in, and it's cool. I like that my guy kind of turns evil as I progress, because I'm playing evil as well. Maybe we should have kind of coordinated, Jam, but whatever. Evil's badass and fun. See, when I'm running around the city, I get pegged off by Reapers all the time, so it's it's pretty challenging. The Reapers, or the bad guys, have surprisingly good aim. They can actually hit you from further away. They're all snipers.
They have the power. Yeah, it's really annoying, but it's also pretty cool because the game is actually quite tough. I mean, I am playing it on hard, but I do like the way that as you play through the game and you get more and more powers, just the occasion to occasion instances where you are fighting people in the street, it gives you more and more tactical options. Like at first, when I only had my pea shooter zappy ability and the force push.
You can only
I decided
do so much.
The best way of dealing with people was to hide behind a car and then wait for people to come reasonably close to me and then force push the car into them and zap it a whole bunch of times until it exploded and then killed the whole lot of them, which is cool. But now I'm getting more and more abilities. It means I can do things like I can be a little bit more risky because I now have this ability to leech electricity out of people who are on the ground dying.
Yeah.
That's another morality thing. You can either do that and that's an evil action.
Or heal them.
Help heal them using sort of like a defibrillator shock paddle thing with your hands, which is a good action.
It's as you progress, it gets a lot more complex on the things you can do, which is a great way to build the game, as it makes you feel like you're accomplishing something, and it's taking a very simple thing like the combat and turning it into a very satisfying experience. And then another highlight, I really enjoy the mission variability in that I've done like one mission type over like maybe once, where that was like follow a Reaper without him seeing you. But you can, follow that. You can kill a bunch of guys. You can protect hostages. It has a lot of different missions you can do. And then the collecting aspect of the game is the best I've seen yet, with the sonar pulse, and that's just awesome. That's way better than the Crackdown sounds. Way better than the Burnout areas, like how many you have left in each area. It's the best collecting method. I actually want to collect everything now because it is actually feasible to do without a walkthrough.
Yeah, exactly. It's really cool, and it's just if you're running across the city, you can just every now and again you can just click this thing, the left analog stick, and it's like, there are 3 blast shards over there, and maybe a dead drop in that general direction. So it's a nice little thing, and it means that when I've cleared out an area, I really want to go back and find all those bits and pieces.
And with all these gameplay mechanics and elements, the game does look beautiful. All of the other, apart from the models of the people that give you missions and the bobbleheads, Cole himself looks so good. The city looks so good. When you're like draining and using your different powers, it looks amazing, and they've done a really good job. And big props to Sucker Punch from me for Infamous. I really, really am glad I picked this up.
Yeah, should make up for that.
The key thing about it is that, like Crackdown, like Super Mario 64 and Super Mario Sunshine, it is fun to just run around and do stuff.
Yeah. It's fun. It's a really fun game. It's just pure fun. pure electrifying fun.